You could be the meanest, most horrible person in the world, and if somebody sees you have like 6,000 followers on Instagram at school, or like you get a ton of likes, they'll be your friend. They don't care what you're like.
Are you gonna be on my side if I let you up?
Sure, Chick, sure. I'm on your side. Just set me up. I'll do anything you say.
When I was a student, bullying was always in person. In my neighborhood, the bully who lived up the hill, and we would be careful not to go that direction, because if he was outside, he would grab your bike and harass you.
Get off, I want to ride it.
Oh no, Chick, not my new bike.
Oh, I was bullied all through school.
And I can remember the kid who you all just kind of knew was mean to people, whether it was on the playground or other places. I'm not going to say his name. I'm sure he's a great guy now.
The bullying happened at school or on the bus.
The ways in which this person could have access to my life were pretty limited. In this case, it was the 7 hours that I was at school.
Now it's always available. It's going to follow them everywhere.
Have any of you ever been harassed online?
Yes, 120%.
People are still just like mean.
Yeah, they're called trolls. They just like troll you and try and make you feel bad.
Trolls are just kind of a part of the society we live in nowadays.
Our bullying did not go in front of the whole world on social media. To them, it feels like it went out to the whole world.
Personally, like, I don't really get those, well,
Where are the safe places for a kid growing up? Because as soon as I get home, everyone goes to their room and the devices come out, and everything that was horrible about what just happened is shared over and over and over again.
By 6th grade, he was like bullying me on Instagram, and my friends were telling me, and I had no means to defend myself.
Well, honestly, I do think it's worse to be bullied online because you don't know who you're talking to.
Big picture, he was bullied in a lot of different ways, and part of the way that also showed up was through text message.
You know, it was in person in school, in the classroom, divide and conquer, as well as cyber. And so it was coming at him from all angles.
And it would never shut off. But the cyber stuff, so I would block kid A and block kid B, and they would give Ethan's number. Then they started texting Gavin. They had Gavin's ID, and messages were coming in through. Gavin was, 6 at the time? They were relentless.
He was the target.
It was relentless.
When I finally did get a phone in 7th grade, it got bad because I also got Snapchat around the same time. And so I could now see what he was posting about me.
Every kid sees this happening. It's hitting a much larger and broader audience than it ever used to. You know, and sometimes people pile on.
It's another thing when the bully gets 25 people in a text thread and it's all directed at you. It's a different scale and it's a different time.
It's an amplifier for the worst parts of us. Let's take an example like Twitter. It's calculating what is the thing that I can show you that gets the most engagement. And it turns out that outrage, moral outrage, gets the most engagement. So it was found in a study that for every word of moral outrage that you add to a tweet, it increases your retweet rate by 17%.
If they didn't have tech, I swear they would have a black eye every day.
There are just so many more channels through which I can be a complete jerk that don't involve me being in front of you, which is the great neutralizer of cruelty. Because if I see you and I look you in the eye, we tend to treat each other differently.
He was having a really difficult time. He was very agitated. And it had to do with his phone. And I couldn't understand because we'd found some text messages on it that concerned me. And I asked him about it, and I took the phone from him, and we talked. We shared some tears, and I said, "Really, son, what's going on here?"
A couple days after Christmas, the stomach pains got so bad we had to go to the emergency room. I was convinced he had appendicitis. He was in so much pain. He threw up 2 or 3 times. His blood work's good. This is weird. Like, we don't know. And I knew in that moment it was anxiety. I knew it. We got him through the other side, but there was a place there where it was so dark, I thought, this is it. This is that tipping moment where we lost our kid.
You know, certainly there's an element that kids need to learn resilience, and they need to understand that people are not always going to agree with them, and they may even tease them. And there's an element that that's okay, because we can't train kids to expect that they will always be shielded from any negative thing in their life. That said, it's important for a parent to know where in the spectrum it is for your child relative to where they are in their developmental cycle.
So it's definitely there. It's definitely there, but I'm certain it's probably more behind people's backs nowadays.
Cyberbullying is definitely, like Charlie said, a lot more subtle than people like to make it out to be.
So what happens when somebody takes somebody off Instagram?
Oh, it's a big thing.
It's a big deal.
It's like, you know, when you block somebody on Instagram, like you can tell, like we all know the signs of like when somebody blocks you on Instagram, and it's like a big thing because, you know, this person doesn't like you anymore.
That group photo where I don't tag that one girl. That parents may not pick up on that, but that is a subtle way of saying, I'm not gonna tag you, or I'm not going to like that photo, or whatever it might be. We've attached worth to those things. And that's a little subtle jab that kids are doing all the time. I see it, I hear it.
What about the constant awareness that you're not invited to something or you're being left out?
I hate that. Nothing makes me more upset than that.
When people hang out or do something cooler than you, they're gonna post it, and then it just shows like, hey, you're not here. You know, you suck.
I would actually be like, what did I do wrong? Like, I must have done something wrong. Like, I need to fix something about my character. Like, I just need to completely change myself. Who would be the person that would be invited, and then make myself into that?
It's not outright, and it's not something you can just see when you go online. It's something that's behind the scenes, and it's something that affects someone over years and years and slowly changes the way they think.